Yes, very good afternoon. Right, so we completed with the last two clauses of CARO 2016. One was clause 15, which was regarding the non-cash transactions. Are they in compliance with section 192? Right, and then the last one, clause 16, which was regarding registration with RBI. Right, and then after that we started with the chapter on company accounts and audit, in which we first discussed section 141, which is regarding the qualifications and the disqualifications of the company auditor. Yes, 141 subsection 3, they have given the disqualifications of the company auditor, 9 disqualifications. A, body corporate other than LLP. B, officer or employee of the company. Third, a person who is a partner or who is in the employment of an officer or employee of the company. Then after that, person himself or his partner or his relative. Right? 5 companies: company, holding company, subsidiary company, associate company, and any other subsidiary of that holding company, holding security of or interest in or is indebted or has provided a guarantee. However, relative can hold security up to the face value of rupees 1 lakh only in the company. And if relative exceeds the limit, then corrective action can be taken within 60 days. Indebtedness, all 3, PPR, person, partner, relative, all 3 can be indebted up to rupees 5 lakh for all the 5 companies. And guarantee also, all 3 can give a guarantee of up to rupees 1 lakh. Then after that, we said a person or a firm has any business relationship. Now with one more company added, subsidiary of associate company. So we have 6 companies over there, except 2 exceptions over there. No, commercial transactions for rendering professional services, and second, as a customer in the ordinary course of business. Then F, relative is a director or is in the employment as a director or a key managerial personnel of the company. G, CA is in full-time employment elsewhere or exceeding the ceiling limit of 20 audits per person, excluding 1-person company, small company, dormant company, and private companies having paid up share capital of less than 100 crore. Then CA convicted by a court for an offense involving fraud and a period of 10 years has not elapsed from the date of such conviction. And a person neither by himself nor through his subsidiary or associate or any other form of entity provides consulting specialized services to company, holding company, and subsidiary company. So what is section 144? Auditor not to render certain services. Other services to be rendered by the auditor, it says they should be approved by the audit committee or the board of directors as the case may be. But in those other services, these are never allowed to be provided. Accounting and bookkeeping, internal audit. Design and implementation of financial information system, outsourced financial services. Investment advisory services, investment banking services, actuarial services, management services, and any other kind of services as may be prescribed. I've told you this question has not been asked in the exam so far. And section 144, auditor not to render certain services. And what does 141(4) say? If any of the disqualification attracted after appointment, then in that case he shall vacate his office as such auditor, and such vacancy shall be deemed to be a casual vacancy in the office of the auditor. Then we studied section 139, which is regarding the appointment of the company auditor, which we discussed under 2 heads and 3 heads. And other than government company, subsequent auditor, first auditor, casual vacancy, board of directors, members, comptroller and auditor general of India, board of directors, members. Are you getting the format? Can you imagine it? Right. And then 396363, 30, 90, 60, 30, 60, 33, 30, 30. Right, so casual vacancy other than government company, all could be filled in by the board of directors. But if it is due to resignation, then it shall also be approved by the members at the EGM within 3 months of the recommendation of the board. And he shall hold office till the conclusion of the next AGM. Yes, government company, subsequent auditor shall be appointed by CNAG within 180 days from the commencement of the financial year. And other than government companies, subsequent auditor, a written consent certificate is to be obtained from the auditor before his appointment. Then after that, he will be appointed by the members by passing an ordinary resolution in the general meeting. And what will be his tenure of office? From the conclusion of that AGM till the conclusion of the 6th AGM, and thereafter till the conclusion of every 6th AGM. The company will inform the auditor, and the company will inform ROC, filing form ADT 1, within 15 days of passing of the resolution. Right, then rotation of company auditor, 139 subsection 2. Which are the companies who have to comply with the rotation ka requirement? Listed companies, always. Unlisted public companies having paid up share capital of more than or equal to 10 crore. All private companies having paid up share capital of more than or equal to 20 crore. And all companies having borrowings or deposits of more than or equal to 50 crore. And what does it say? An individual not more than one term of 5 consecutive years, and a firm for not more than 2 terms of 5 consecutive years. And then after that, a cooling period of 5 years. And even the common partner network firm have to follow the cooling period. Existing companies, transitional provision of 3 years. Right? And consecutive years shall mean all the preceding years until the break is by 5 years or more. Right, so that was regarding the appointment and the rotation of the company auditor. Then after that, we started with section 140, which is regarding the removal of the company auditor. And we said that removal of the company auditor we shall discuss under 4 heads. What was the first head? Removal of the company auditor before the expiry of his term. Yani ke abhi ke abhi. Before the expiry of his term. So what was the starting point? A board resolution is to be passed. Within 30 days of the board resolution, you need to make an application to the central government. Then once you receive the prior approval of the central government, then within 60 days, special resolution in the general meeting and reasonable opportunity of being heard. Right, so that is removal of auditor any time in between the year before completion of his tenure, before the AGM, at a EGM only in between of the year when you want to remove the auditor. Second, removal of the auditor at the AGM, but before completion of his tenure, because at the completion of his tenure now, 5 years, 10 years, so he will have to go. But you know his 5 years, 10 years are not over. And at the AGM, if you want to remove the auditor, then what does it say? A special notice is required to be sent by the members to the company. Yes, you know the requirement of special notice, shareholders holding the shares of the face value of 1 lakh or 1% of the share. Right? So special notice is required to be sent to the members of the company. So say right now the auditor of your company is P. Say you all are the shareholders of Jio Limited. And before you come, what is your plan? At this AGM you want to remove P, or you want to appoint somebody else in place of P, or you don't know whom you want to appoint, but you pakka know you don't want P. So in that case, in both the cases, when you want to appoint somebody else or you want to expressly provide that he shall not be the auditor, you need to send a special notice to the company before the AGM, because at the AGM you want to remove the auditor. So before you come for the AGM, you need to send a special notice to the company. Then a copy of the special notice will be sent to the retiring auditor. And now what is SN? It is the special notice. A copy of the special notice will be sent to the retiring auditor. Then he can make a representation in writing. It should not exceed reasonable length. And here also we can remember that 611, Sodi made unsubstantiated and derogatory remarks against the management. Right, so the retiring auditor, now he can make a representation in writing. It should not exceed reasonable length. Then he can request the company that the representation be sent to the members. Right, that it be sent to the members. So the company must send it if the retiring auditor so requires. However, if the company could not send it, then why they could not send it? Say because it was received too late. So it's just 2 days before the meeting the representation came. So because it was received too late, or because of any default of the company, because of any default of the company, in that case it would be read out at the meeting, and also a copy of it will be filed with ROC. This is a new thing which has come in the Companies Act 2013, and a copy of the representation to be filed with the ROC if you could not send it to the members. If you send it to the members, then no need to file a copy with ROC. But say because it was received too late or any default of the company, you could not circulate, send it to all the members. In that case, one, though it would be read out at the meeting. And second, a copy of it also is required to be filed with ROC. And this is without prejudice to the right to be heard orally at the meeting. Right to be heard orally at the meeting. So, now you're being removed as the auditor. So one, you can send a farewell letter to the company. And you can tell the company to send it to all the members. And if they could not send it, then in that case, it would be read out at the meeting. And this is without prejudice to the right to be heard orally at the meeting. So you can write one farewell letter and you can also prepare one farewell speech. So farewell letter, it could either be sent to all the members. If it could not be sent, then it would be read out at the meeting. And in addition to this, you also have a right to be heard orally at the meeting. They can't say, now we've read your representation, so now you're not allowed to speak at the meeting. No. What does it say? Without prejudice to the right to be heard orally at the meeting. So farewell letter and a farewell speech. And this is either sent or read out. If it is sent, then no need to read it out. If it is not sent, then in that case it would be read out at the meeting. So we can remember it that way, farewell letter and farewell speech. Without prejudice to the right to be heard orally at the meeting. And if on application to the tribunal, if it is so found that the retiring auditor has abused the right to make representation, he's written all crap about the company. He's written that the company's administration, there is something inherently wrong. All the top management of the company is a fraud. In next 1 year, this company is going to shut down. He's very anguished, because he's being removed as the auditor of the company. And that is why he's writing all this in the representation, all crap about the company. And he's telling the company to send it to all the members. Now, company must send. But now instead of using the right to make representation, this retiring auditor is abusing the right. So then what the company and aggrieved persons they can do, they can send this representation to the tribunal and say, you only read what he's written about us, and how do we read it out at the meeting, or how do we send it to the members? And if the tribunal is satisfied, okay, yes, the auditor has abused the right, then they may order, don't send this representation to the members, don't read it out at the meeting. No need to send a representation, no need to read it out at the meeting. And then after that, a special resolution in the general meeting will be passed for the removal of the auditor. So only what is the difference over here? Here there is no prior approval of central government which is required. And there what was this trigger point? Abhi ke liye board resolution. And here what is the trigger point? Special notice. How does it start? Trigger point matlab from where does it initiate the removal ka process? So what does it say? Abhi ke abhi, a board resolution say it starts, and then CG approval, then SR and GM. And at the AGM, how does it start? A special notice has to be sent to the company. Then they would give a reasonable opportunity of being heard, and then a special resolution in the general meeting. Yes, is that okay for everyone? Right, so that's removal of auditor at the AGM, but before the expiry of his term. Before the expiry of his tenure, I can say, 5 years or 10 years ke pehle. Then third one, under the removal of the company auditor, is regarding the resignation by the company auditor, or the resignation of the auditor. So say, as an auditor, I resigned today. Like, in many of the standards we said, now, whenever there is a limitation on scope, do you remember limitation on scope? Unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Either you can issue a qualified opinion or a disclaimer of opinion, or you may decide to withdraw from the engagement. So withdraw matlab what? You are resigning. So say today if I resign as the auditor of Jio Limited, you understand, within 30 days from the date of resignation, within 30 days from the date of resignation, the auditor who has to file? The auditor has to file Form ADT 3 with company and ROC. And in case of a government company, he will also have to file it with CNAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So in case of government company, will I file it with company ROC also? Yes. And in addition to company ROC, I will also file it with CAG. So you know, if I write it this way, other than government company, the auditor has to file ADT3 with company and ROC. And in case of a government company, he will file it with company, with ROC and with CAG, that is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. And what if he does not file it? Then it says punishment or fine from 50,000, which may extend up to 5 lakh. So once you resign, within 30 days from the date of resignation, you have to file. You matlab who? The auditor. So appointment of auditor, now auditor is not required to file form ADT1. Who has to file form ADT1? The company with ROC within 15 days from passing of the ordinary resolution in general meeting. But in case of, resignation by the auditor, you understand, here auditor himself resigned, and in that case it says auditor, you will have to file form ADT3 with company and ROC within 30 days from the date of resignation, and in case of a government company also with CAG. Yes, is everybody getting that? Resignation of the company auditor, right? And the last one I told you yesterday, R raised to 10, and removal of the auditor. Right, removal of the auditor by tribunal or CG. Right, tribunal or CG. I'm telling you, this question has not been asked so far. Right, so 4 marks, 6 marks, somewhere in your question number 5A, 6C, 4B, you know, this question is going to come. What are the provisions of the company with respect to the removal of the auditor by tribunal or central government? Are you getting? Okay, now you have to write it over there only. Because I have less space over there, I'm going on the next slide. And you have to write it in the 4th column, whatever I'm going to write on the next page. You understand? Right. So, removal of auditor by tribunal or CG, yani ke central government. What does it say? I'm talking about removal of auditor by tribunal or CG. What does it say? The tribunal either suo moto. The tribunal either suo moto. Suo moto means on its own. Khud se. Removal is, what does it say? The tribunal either suo moto or on an application received from central government or any person concerned. Or on an application received from central government or any person concerned, is satisfied. Very important word over there, satisfied. You're not doubtful. You have confirmed. Is satisfied that the auditor of the company has acted in a fraudulent manner or has abated or colluded in any fraud by or in relation to the company or its directors or officers, it may by order direct the company to change its auditors. I repeat, what does it say? The tribunal either suo moto or on an application received from CG or any person concerned is satisfied. Yes. What satisfied? That the auditor of the company has acted in a fraudulent manner or has abated. Abated matlab assisted, helped. Help somebody to do a fraud. Abated or colluded. Colluded, you understand? Joint effort, milke, collusion among employees. Colluded in any fraud, acted or abated or colluded in any fraud by or in relation to the company or its directors or officers, it may by order, who? Tribunal, it may by order direct the company to change its auditors. Yes, I repeat one more time. What is the first sentence? You have to learn this first sentence. Very important for the examiner to know. You know the provisions. No changing words. These minimum words have to come in your answer. Satisfied, acted, abated, colluded. Are you getting what I am saying? The tribunal either, try to say it with me, the tribunal either suo motu or on an application received from CG or any person concerned is satisfied and are not doubtful, satisfied that the auditor of the company has acted in a fraudulent manner or abated or colluded in any fraud by or in relation to the company or its directors or officers, it may by order direct the company to change its auditors. Now, what are the two ways? Tribunal either suo motu or on an application received from CG or person concerned. So what does it say? If the application is received from CG and then the tribunal is satisfied, if the application is received from CG and then the tribunal is satisfied, then it shall pass the order within 15 days. Once it is satisfied, the application received from CG, and then if it is satisfied, it shall pass the order within 15 days. And then the another auditor, the another auditor in place of the auditor being removed will be appointed by the CG. In which case it will be appointed by the CG? Wonderful, when the application is received from CG. When the application is received from CG, one it says, and if the tribunal is satisfied, then within how many days they should pass the order? Within 15 days. And second, now who will appoint the another auditor, new auditor in place of the auditor being removed? The central government. In which case, when the application is received from CG. Right. Then what does it say? Such a person, such an auditor against whom the final order has been passed by the tribunal cannot do the audit of any company for a period of 5 years. No company audit for a period of 5 years. Such a person against whom the final order has been passed by the tribunal cannot do the audit of any company for a period of 5 years. So say, Jio Limited ka audit was being done by P, and now tribunal has passed an order to change the auditor. So now P cannot do the audit of any company for a period of 5 years and shall be liable under section 447 of the Companies Act 2013. Do you have any observation when I say that such a person against whom the final order has been passed by the tribunal cannot do the audit of any company for a period of 5 years? No. No, consecutive, no, cooling, no, nothing to do with that. No. Any company, no company audit for 5 years. 5 years, relax. Does this not remind you of 141(3)(h)? The first question, what is 141(3)(h)? Yesterday we did 9 disqualifications of company auditor, na? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 wala? No, that is 141(3)(I). उसके ऊपर का. हाँ, a person convicted by a court for an offence involving fraud and a period of 10 years has not elapsed from the date of such conviction. You understand? And यहाँ पे 5 years है, but फिर फर्क क्या है? There the order is passed by the court. Here the order is passed by the tribunal. You understand now? वहाँ पे you remember yesterday? ध्यान में आ रहा है कि does everybody remembered? You understand? 141(3)(g) was what? CA is in full-time employment elsewhere or exceeded the ceiling limit of 20. और फिर H क्या था? A person convicted by a court for an offence involving fraud and a period of 10 years has not elapsed from the date of such conviction. And here what does it say? Convicted by the tribunal. The order has been passed. He cannot do the audit of any company for 5 years. So there it is court है तो फिर 10 years. And अगर tribunal है तो 5 years. Is everybody getting that? Okay. And shall be liable under section 447. And 447 khatarnak. I'm going to teach you in the next chapter, no? Liabilities of the auditor. But just to give you a glimpse of that. Like, SEBI mein vagere we see the penalties, they are all in crores of rupees. Have you studied the SEBI Act in your allied laws? Okay, so whenever you study that, you'll see all crores of rupees of penalties. But say, even though if the fine is 5 crore, say the penalty is 5 crore, and you've done a fraud of 7,000 crore. So still it's justified, कि 7,000 crore का fraud करके 5 crore का penalty भरना है, तो it's okay, still affordable type of. You understand? That is why Companies Act 2013 has learnt its own bitter lessons. And that is why now they have not prescribed any particular amount of penalty. Now what do they say? The amount of fine will be at least equal to the amount of fraud, which may extend to 3 times the amount involved in the fraud. So that's a better way of drafting. At least equal to the amount of fraud. First thing, if your fraud is of 7,000 crore, so at least 7,000. And which may extend to 3 times the amount involved in the fraud. Matlab up to 21,000 crore. You understand? Matlab now it is proportionate to the fraud which you do. Not that if you do a 7,000 crore fraud, you have to pay a 5 crore penalty. And then what does it say? Minimum period of imprisonment would be 6 months, which may extend up to 10 years. And if the fraud is in relation to public interest, then the minimum period of imprisonment would be 3 years. Right? So there again it's up to 10 years imprisonment and plus at least equal to the amount of fraud, which may extend to 3 times in the amount involved in the fraud. So that is given under section 447. Right. And now what does it say? The liability shall be of the firm. This is again a new entry now in Companies Act 2013. Okay, it's not only, it's the liability of the partner or only of that particular person. Now what do they say? If one partner of the firm has done a fraud, the liability shall be of the firm, and every partner of the firm who acted in a fraudulent manner or who abated or colluded in relation to any fraud by or in relation to the company or its directors or officers. So that upar ka sentence repeated over here. The liability shall be of the firm and every partner of the firm who acted, abated, colluded. Yes. Yes, LLP included. Firm includes LLP. I taught you yesterday in 141 subsection 2, na, K firm includes LLP. Yes. Auditor can appeal. He can appeal. Yes, then also the punishment will come, 5 years or 10 years. From the court, no. So again, yes, that would be, then it would come under the court. But then 5 years they can give the tribunal. They can confirm the order which has been passed by